preposition, or the prepositions à, which means to, in, and it can also mean at. There's several different translations, and sometimes there's not even a translation that we use in English. And also de, which means from. Now, these prepositions are different from all the others in that they change into contractions. They make contractions, like cannot changes to can't, and do not changes to don't, when they are next to articles. Now, we know what articles are, like le, la, les. So, this lesson will be on how they change, and you should definitely memorize these because, as we'll see in some other lessons on prepositions, those things will build on this. And if you don't know how the contractions work, it's going to mess you up later on as well. So you might as well just buckle down and learn them right now. So let's start with the feminine ones. A next to la. So that's a feminine place that begins with la. You don't have to worry about that. A next to la will always stay the same. So if you're going to a feminine place, if you're coming from a feminine place, so you're coming from the bookstore, de la librairie, then you also don't have to change. De la stays the same, de la, so you don't have to change that. Now it's going to get a little trickier. If you're going to a masculine place, you have a plus le. I don't want to see you write a and le next to each other because you have to change that to o. Okay? You don't write a, le, o. You don't write all three of them. It just changes to that one word, au. And that would mean to the. To, remember a, le, the. So like to the restaurant would be au restaurant. And that is pronounced just like the letter O, L-M-N-O-P. And what if we're coming from the restaurant? You would never say de le restaurant. The de and the le would change to du. So if you were coming from the restaurant, then you would say du restaurant. You do not need the de and le anymore. They changed. Changed to the du. Do not say de le restaurant. Now, if you have plural words, they are going to begin with les, and that is going to be the same as this one, except we added an X. Oh, sounds exactly the same as well. So, to the stores would be au magasin. And if we are coming from the stores, that would be des. And lastly, let's move on to the vowels. Something that begins with a vowel is going to start with the L apostrophe. Well, that also doesn't have to change. L apostrophe, and coming from a place that starts with a vowel, that will stay the same. So the ones that you have to focus on are right here, the masculine and the plural. We do not want to see a and le, de and le, or de and le. They change when they're next to each other to these things. They make a contraction again, like do not changes to don't. So I know that there's not too many magical ways to remember this. Hopefully you can think of something that jogs your memory when you're taking a test. Now let's try to put these into practice. So when you're writing a sentence, you want to first determine whether you're saying you're going to a place or you're coming from a place. Alright, now let's imagine that we want to start saying that we're going to the supermarket. Now there's a couple different things that we have to ask ourselves. Let's go in order that I have here. There's a reason to why I have it in order this way. Our second step, after first determining if we wanted to say to or from, is to determine if it's plural. So let's look at this word. Is this word plural? No, it's not plural. Alright, so that kind of takes out this column right here. It's not plural, so we're not going to worry about this. is there a vowel? Does it start with a vowel right here? Nope, so we can't use that. Now we have to have memorized if supermarché is feminine or masculine. Now I have it blue here. It's pretty obvious it's masculine. So what do we have to do? We have the le here. Remember, we cannot use a and le. So again, that's going to change to o. So to the supermarket would not be à le supermarché, it would be au supermarché. Okay? And no reason to go through all those steps again. We know that we cannot write de le supermarché. We have to write du supermarché. Okay, and now I won't write out the whole word right there. You know that it's supermarché. Alright, let's move on to la librairie. Remember, library, this is a false cognate. It doesn't mean library, it means bookstore. Remember, bibliothèque is the library. And let's see, it's not plural. It doesn't start with a vowel. Is it feminine or masculine? It is feminine. Can we write à la librairie? Well, let's see. Yes, that didn't change, so we don't have to make a contraction for that. À la librairie. And the same thing is going to be from the bookstore, the la. Okay. Now, we have l'école and l'église, and these are both feminine. But, look, you didn't have to know if they were feminine or not. I know you were stressing about that on the test. You thought, oh wait, I don't know if I have to use à la, or au, or du, or de la. Now, if you look at my steps, we decided it's not plural. Does it start with a vowel? Yes. So it doesn't matter if école was masculine or feminine. Doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to use the A with the accent grave and the L with the apostrophe. Doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine, you're going to use this. And you would use à l'église as well, and the de and the L apostrophe followed by the word. Again, you didn't have to know whether they were masculine or feminine. That's something that you usually have to remember. But since it starts with a vowel here, you got to skip that step. So now let's move on to our plural words here. We decided we're going to say to the grocery stores, plural here. And the second step is to ask if it's plural. Why is that the next step? Well, because if you go here, it doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine. Doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine. So there's no reason to try to figure out if it's masculine or feminine if in the end it doesn't even matter. So just skip right over that and use our word au. Aux épiceries. And B. Day with our same word. And au magasin. To the stores. And from the stores. So you'll see that this means to the, because it has a and le combined. That's our contraction. And this means from the, because it has from and the together. In French, it turns into one word. In English, it's two words. Hopefully, you've learned that by now, that if there's 3 words in an English sentence, that does not necessarily mean that there's going to be 3 words in a French sentence. That's because they're 2 different languages. If you had all the same number of words all the time, they'd end up being basically the same language. That would kind of defeat the purpose of having several different ones. Some of my students have asked, why doesn't the whole world speak one language? And in fact, there was a guy who tried to answer that question, and he did, in fact, try to create a language that he thought the whole world should speak. You can look it up on Google. It's called Esperanto, and if you want to try to learn it, go right ahead. Hopefully, this lesson on prepositions helped a little bit. If you have any questions, please ask a friend, ask me, even look online. There's plenty of other lessons just like this that will help explain it. The bottom line is that, one, you really do have to memorize the little math equations like these. You have to know if you put them next to each other what happens, because this is not the only place that you're going to see this.